Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs the t-shirt, Spaceballs the coloring book, Spaceballs the lunchbox, Spaceballs the breakfast cereal, Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
Never got one for Christmas, but boy, I think I would have loved one. Yogurt and Mel Brooks nailed it. Toys and movies are all about the merchandising and all about the space bucks. Just ask the people at Hasbro. Bulls, Bears, and Bucks rips a page from comics and store shelves as we welcome back from the Society to Advance Financial Education. This may be one of the more unique segments that he's ever been involved in, leading off with a Mel Brooks movie. Steve Beaman joins us. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing great, thanks. And you know, it's funny. I look at ISIS going on in the Mideast. I look at Europe in turmoil, and here you and I are talking about comic books. But what a really wonderful thing for investors to know about.
This is money, though, because that's what we do here. We got to talk about money, and it's not just this stuff that everybody talks about. We have stuff here such as Transformers, My Little Pony. Hasbro revenue is up 5% last year. Hey, look, it's true. If you're looking for an investment, if you find that company that gets the right hook, gets the right action figures, and is able to speak to the kids, you got a mint that's growing right there.
Oh my gosh, Transformers made $1 billion at the box office, and that is adult money if ever there was some. So yeah, this is important for folks. And Sony and Marvel are partnering together to bring the comic book characters of Marvel with the movie characters of Sony, like Spider-Man, and that's going to create a very powerful franchise.
Well, let's talk about this from an investment standpoint here before we get off into the geek boy side of things. But if you're looking at Hasbro, their net earnings in the fourth quarter rose to $154.9 million. That's $1.22 a share. The international market's increasingly important to Hasbro because you've got kids everywhere and these movies are in every single language. Are these good investments, though, for people to look at these companies?
They certainly can be, but to your earlier point, you have to know what demographic they're going after and what their product is. If you look, for example, at Mattel, and you and I've talked in the past about how they've had real trouble with the Barbie doll because kids are moving away from the sweet, nice Barbie doll into much more intense toys. And so you've got to be able to follow that pop culture of the 4, 5, 6-year-olds. Not always easy to do, but if you find it, absolutely. We export it around the world, and that creates incredible demand for those companies, which generates profits for us in the business.
And the Sony deal is interesting because this is Sony, Marvel Comics, this is Universal Studios, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is all a rights fee deal, but if you now put Spider-Man together with the Avengers and all of these others that are out there that are massively, massively important right now and making a ton of money, that's a great investment as well.
It is. Entertainment in and of itself is a really good segment of the economy for people to place some money. And these comic book characters, again, we're not talking kid stuff here. We're talking about real money around the world. We export our culture into the Far East, into Europe. It's very well received. And so these types of intersections of comic book and movie heroes is going to generate really nice profits for these companies.
All right. If you're going to the movies, you then are probably going to have popcorn and a soft drink. He said, making one heck of a segue here. Coca-Cola quarterly profits beat the estimates. I thought they were good. I thought they were down for a little while, actually. The Coke was having some problems.
Well, we've seen people, slowing down on sugary soft drinks in the U.S., but they've been the benefactor of this economy where oil prices have come down. Consumers have a little more money in their pockets, and they seem to put a little more towards soft drinks. But the biggest thing for Coke is their 3 W's around the world: women, wellness, and water. And all 3 of those categories of strategic focus are benefiting that company right now.
And not only that, the prices went up 4% overall in the quarter. So if you're selling less and making more, there you go. 60 seconds left. U.S. oil supply growth. The oil supply itself will continue through 2020. Good news for at least hoping that the gas prices stay down, correct?
Yeah, this is the International Energy Agency. I've talked about it at great length with you. Oil has systemically come down in price because of an enormous supply in the world supplies right now. The U.S. shale oil industry, as well as recent research showing the U.S. only has 10% of global shale oil reserves, is really leading to those prices staying down. And they're saying now 2020 before we see any move upwards.
All right. And before I let you go, by the way, will you and or your family be standing in line for the new Star Wars movie when it comes out?
No. Sorry. sorry to be such a mundane fool. I probably should, but no, my kids are getting to an age where they're more worried about college money and college things like that than going to Star Wars movies.
Okay, you better be sure, because I'll tell you, when it comes out, even the college kids are going to be out there watching this one. All right.
And I would never admit that I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, see, that was exactly my point. I didn't think you would. The Society to Advance Financial Education. Check them out. Always a pleasure. Steve Beaman, thanks for being here, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ed.
All right. Ever think about all those unpaid traffic tickets you've got in the glove box? Ever think about being tossed into jail and treated like a felon because of them? You better. We'll talk about a lawsuit that's been filed and so much more when MidPoint continues.